So let me set the scene, okay? I just started the journey of becoming a religious Jew. It was the first time I was really living in a religious neighborhood as part of a community. I was living in the Chabad community in Crown Heights. I had had this feeling for a long time, like I really wanted to write, and I had started this blog that was, at the time, it was about movies and Hasidus, and I called it Pop Hasid. And I was really excited about it, but I just never could get myself into it. I always felt nervous. There were a lot of fears that came with this creativity that I was trying to tap into. So I had heard about this place that I had to go to called the Ohel. I'd never been there before. The Ohel is the resting place of the person I consider to be my Rebbe. He's often referred to as the Rebbe, Rebbe Menachem Mendel Schneerson. A Rebbe is considered the spiritual and moral leader of a Hasidic community. And he was specifically the leader of Chabad. But what was amazing about the Rebbe was that he was a leader for everyone. A friend of mine told me an amazing story about how when he went to visit the Rebbe at the Ohel, he had written a letter, which is a very widespread custom. And he told me specifically that what had happened was that he came out of the Ohel, and then right outside of there was a TV screen. And on the TV screen, they play videos of the Rebbe constantly. When he came out, the Rebbe was giving him advice specific to his situation, and he told me that when I go to the Ohel, I had to make sure to keep my eyes open. And I came to the Ohel. I sat down where everyone sits down to write their letters to the Rebbe. You can just see them kind of pouring their hearts out. It's really incredibly beautiful. I told the Rebbe a lot of the concerns that I had about writing, and I went into the Ohel. The Ohel is the actual grave area of the Rebbe. I said Tehillim, which is the Psalms, and I took my letter, and what you're supposed to do is cut it up into pieces and throw it in with all the other letters, and there's a huge sea of letters. And I walked out. All of a sudden I realized, oh, okay, I'm in the room with the video of the Rebbe playing. This is exactly what my friend had described to me. And I looked up, and the Rebbe was talking about something that had nothing to do with anything that I'd written in the letter. And I figured, okay, it's kind of what I thought might happen. And that's basically the end of the experience. I walked out. I was pretty sure this was it. I was done. And my wife and I got into the bus that we had taken to come here. About like 10 minutes in, a DVD was put in and played for us. This was a video where the Rebbe was speaking at a gathering called the Fabringen. There was a guest of honor. His name was Chaim Potok. Now, if you don't know, Chaim Potok is one of the most famous Jewish writers. Anyway, so already, immediately my ears perked. I realized the Rebbe is talking to a writer. This is really already pretty incredible. And he was saying, a writer who's put in the position to have his books published, to have people read his work, is in an incredible position.
Zu dem Lehner, der Lehner soll der fühlen, jetzt Balabais lebira zu, als sie da Balabos in der wilder Welt.
And I remember Chaim Potok looking down, and I just remember being in a complete trance. I had no idea what was going on around me. All I felt was the experience of what I felt like. It wasn't the Rebbe yelling at Chaim Potok in that experience, it was the Rebbe yelling at me. And this was the words that I felt like I was hearing that he wasn't saying, which were, I believe in you so much. Why are you holding back? This isn't just about you, this is about other people. This is about a responsibility, about giving to the world. It doesn't matter if you're gonna screw up, you're gonna try your best, but at the end of the day, this is your job. Up until then, the most I could get myself to write was maybe once a month. After that, I started committing myself to writing once a day. And the best part about this was that it gave me a certain freedom, an understanding that I didn't need to do this to please others, but as a responsibility to them. And so when I did that, I spoke from a much more honest and true and real place. And almost immediately, I started to get incredible feedback. I started to get people emailing me, responding to me. Every step in my creative writing process, I felt the words of the Rebbe with me. It was that moment that taught me that creativity that any work we do in this world, if we make it only about ourselves, it's a burden. But when we add God, it becomes an incredibly beautiful, uplifting experience that any success is just secondary to. The real success is living the life that God has set out for us. And when you realize that, nothing can stop you.